Welcome. In this video, we're going to do a solo playthrough of Tiny Epic Dungeons, published by Gamelyn Games. So down at the table, this is a cooperative dungeon crawl for 1 to 4 players, in which we'll be exploring a map and trying to make our way into the lair of a beast. And if we make our way into that lair and are able to defeat one of these villains or enemies, we will win the game. But there's at least 3 ways to lose this thing. So if a 5th goblin must be placed, but 4 goblins are already in the dungeon, we're going to automatically lose. If the torch reaches the skull icon at the end of its track, we'll lose. So we've got 2 acts to go through. So down here, we're in Act 2. If we reach the skull, we lose. And in Act 1, the same thing. So after every player's turn, we're going to have a torch going down this track. So we're going to have to get some items accomplished to prevent that from happening. And thirdly, the dungeon cannot be explored any further, no open corridors, and the lair door card has not been revealed. So basically we've got a 7x7 grid with the centerpiece, our entrance in the center. So that is the max side our grid can be, and if we build that out to where we can't explore and find the entrance to the lair, that's also going to be a loss. So the basics of the game is fairly simple. On our turn, we may perform any or all the following actions in any order. We can move our heroes. We can perform 1 heroic action, which is shown by, basically looks like a blue coffin there. Let's see if we've got some better symbols showing our different heroic actions we can do. So res, searching a room, disarming traps, casting spells, melee attacks, missile attacks, and performing a one-time action. And we can also perform any number of free actions, which is going to look like this symbol, and icons will let us know what we can and can't do with those. So for our setup, we have a selection of heroes that we can go through. I've gone ahead and picked 2. For on a solo game, you do have to run 2 characters. I have a human paladin here, so looking at our player card, we've got a movement of 3, we've got a defense of 5, we have 3 stats of strength, agility, and intellect, and that lets us know the number of dice we can roll. We all have the same free ability here, or free action. We can spend 2 focus to raise or lower one of the dice that we roll. Also have a rest action. We gain 3 health and 5 focus. And then for our paladin, he has an ability here. He can do a spell, which is an intellect check. We need a 4 or better to succeed. If we succeed, we can spend 2 focus to do a fight action with +2. And we start with a hammer in one hand, letting us to fight with our strength, and healing hands. So as a free action, we can spend 2 focus to heal a character by 2 health. So as far as different loot cards we can get, we have 2 hands to hold things. We can basically have 1 armor slot, and then we can have 2 spells and 2 other trinkets for our character. And on the other side, I've got the Ancient Wizard, so movement of 3, defense of 4. You can see his stats there for rolling dice. His free action and resting is the same as the other. He's got a magic arrow, so as a spell he can cast, doing an intellect check, targeting any creature within 2 spaces of him, does not need line of sight, needs a 6. And if he's successful, spend 2 focus to deal 2 damage. Starts with a dagger with -1 to a strength check. So not a strong suit there, and he can research. As a free action, spend 4 focus to pick up a spell card. And our enemy that we'll be going after is going to be random, so we'll take this and give it a quick shuffle. On the back of this card, let us know that we can't get into Act 2 until we've completed this, and basically this is letting us know we're playing with solo or basically 2 characters. We need to defeat 2 minions, 3 characters, 3 minions, and 4 characters, 4 minions. And we find the lair and we can flip over and see who we're fighting there. For our main map setup, we'll need to create the dungeon deck. So we want to separate the entrance tile, room tiles, encounters, and the lair door. So our entrance tile just has steps coming in. This is where we're going to start. And it also gets an altar marker, which we may need to defeat our big villain. So altar markers, we'll need 1 there, and then the number of players, we'll take 1 of each of those and set those aside. And also minion health markers, we'll need 1 per player on those. And then our big baddie token, we'll just have that ready. So the rest of the map tiles, we just have normal rooms. It has that icon up there. So we'll put all those in the stack, and they're going to be full of traps we need to get past, spawning some goblins or finding some goblins, more traps, and just different things with special abilities on them that can help or hurt us. So we'll take that stack of cards and give them a shuffle. And then since there's 2 heroes in this, we're going to need 2 minions in here. So we take those 4 cards, and there's really no need to shuffle them. We're going to get 2 of those here in a bit, but we've got that stack ready. And then we have the lair entrance, so we want that set aside. So we need to make 3 decks and then put them on top of each other. So the first one, draw cards from the room deck based on the hero count. We're having 2 heroes, so we need 9 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Then the second stack, we draw 1 card per hero from the encounter deck and then 3 cards per hero from the room deck. So we need 2 of these. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 3 per player. And then in our last stack, we need 3 cards from the room deck and the lair door. So that's coming down, 1, 2, 3, then we can remove those. The lair door will be shuffled in those 4, so we know the bottom 4 has the lair door that we need to find. And then in the next stack of cards, we've got the 2 minions we need to find and defeat. And the top 9 cards are just basic rooms. So we've got that shuffled. So on our rooms, it does show our doorways. So our starting entrance has 4 paths to go. So we're going to place out 4 rooms. And we know they're safe from the minions. And of course, our characters will start at the entrance. Then for our torch mat, so it lets us know what the number of players, where the torch starts on that. So with 2 players, our torch will start here. The symbols on these, if we get to this point, we're going to activate all the enemies in play. And this symbol here is we're going to spawn a goblin at the entrance spot. We have a free action we can take over here. We can lower the torch, which is speeding our way through it, but we can reveal all the adjacent unrevealed spots in our location. And then over here, if we defeat a minion, we get to raise our torch up 6 spaces, still can't pass where we started. Then we can get either 2 loot or 2 spells or 1 of each with that. It's got a space to put our goblins as they come into play. So we'll put our torch there. Take our goblin cards, and on each of these, it's going to show movement, defense, how they react after we attack them. So this is letting us know if we attack it with melee ranged or spells, it's going to respond back with the enemy die plus this number, and that goes up against our defense. Lets us know what happens when we defeat it. So if we defeat this goblin, we get a loot card and we get to reveal an unrevealed card. And this is what it does on its action. It's either going to attack everybody within 1 for 1 damage times the amount of goblins in it, and if it can't attack anyone, it's going to move its movement slot. So we'll shuffle those cards up. Then we're going to take our minions. They're pretty much the same thing, except they have a lot more health. The goblins have 1 health each. Of course, to defeat them, we need to roll greater than their defense value. So if we rolled 6 on our dice, we would do 1 damage to him here. So we got those shuffled up. Then we'll shuffle up our loot. And spells. And I believe with that, we are pretty much ready to get started on this. So starting at 5 health and 8 focus, and 5 focus and 8 health. So we are going to start with our paladin, and he's going to move over to the left. So using 1 movement, And he found a room here. We can do a search action using our agility. If we get 5 or better, we can get a card out of the discard pile from our loot or spells. But we don't have anything over there to do that with. And we can position this either way here. So we can have it so we're coming down or going up. So we'll do that and place another door. Continue our movement. That was 1 movement. 2 movement. We've found a 4-way intersection and a goblin. So whenever we run into a spot with an enemy, that's going to stop our movement. As soon as we flip this card, the goblin's coming in. It's going to automatically do 1 damage to us. We also have a search action. We can bust open this chest to once again get something out of the discard pile that is not there. So we'll spread out some more rooms. Bring in a goblin. And that is a boomy goblin. Movement of 1, defense of 4. And just for going in there, we get surprised and take a damage. So that ends our movement. So now our heroic action. We can't search if we're equal to, basically to search, we have to have an additional hero in there to keep the enemy occupied. But we want to beat him up. So we're going to use our hammer, which uses our strength, which means we're rolling 3 dice. So our dice are D6s, and they are numbered from 1 through 6. But 1 through 2 are modifiers we can add to our 3 through 6, or we can use them by themselves. For our unspent dice used in here, this allows us to gain a health back, and all the lightning bolts allows us to get some refocus back. And the enemy die is, if it lives, this is going to help determine how it's going to attack us back. And of course, after we roll, we do have a free action. We can spend 2 focus to make a die go up or down. So potentially, we might have a 3 in here. We might want that to go down so we can get a +2 to add to another die. But we'll just go ahead and roll and see what happens here. So we've got a 6, 4, and a +1. In order to defeat him, we need at least 5. So what I'm going to do is do the 4 + 1. So that's going to be a successful hit on him. We have an unspent die. So that's going to, we can use that to heal 1. He's defeated. So with that, we can either get a loot or a spell, and we're going to go hunting for some loot. And we found a violet cape. So whenever we do a ranged or a spell attack, it's going to give us +1 defense, and it gives us +1 to intellect checks. So this is something we definitely aren't going to use. So we're just going to discard it. So whenever he gets a loot, he can go ahead and pick this up or get something from the stack. So free actions, nothing to do. So move the torch down. That goes for the enemies activating. There's none in play to activate. So on to our wizard. We're going to split the party because that's always the best thing to do when you're dungeon delving. And he found a well of water. So it's a free action. We can have the torch go down to go to our max health. We are going to have it come in that direction. We'll continue moving over to this spot, finding some potential treasure and a goblin to fight that's going to come in and pop us for 1 damage. And we'll set up like so. Put that down. And that is our max. We can go that way, 3 tiles out. Take our damage. Goblin comes in. This is a shooty goblin. And we are going to shoot the shooty goblin with our magic arrow. So it's within 2 spaces of us. Our intellect check is 3 dice. We need a 6. So we get a 4 + 2, which is our 6. So when we're using spells, we gain these abilities immediately after we succeed here. So we'd gain 1, but we're already at our max. So then we're going to spend 2 to deal 2 damage to this enemy, destroying it. It's going to let us pick up a loot or gain 5 focus. And we're going to take loot out of the discard area. So we've got our Violet Cape, which is going to give us +1 defense whenever we cast a spell, and we're +1 to our intellect. And we're going to end the turn, which goes into a goblin spawning in the entrance area. So we've got Stabby Goblin. So we're just going to move back 1, 2 and fight this guy using our hammer. We need a 5 to take him down. That's good enough to do it. We're gaining a lot of focus, but we're at max. So defeated. So we can get a loot or gain 3 health. We'll take a loot. We've got a throwing axe of the bear, so that gives us a ranged weapon using strength +2. And a lot of these cards come in sets, so if we get additional things, we'll get bonuses for other items. So we're going to cover up our healing hands, unfortunately, to have that. So at least now we've got a ranged weapon and a melee weapon. And no free action, so this goes down. We activate any enemies. There aren't, so on to his turn. Don't think we're built up to go looking for a minion yet. So I think what he's going to do is go 1, 2. Find a regular goblin. So this is a one-way entrance path, but it's basically a portal. So as a free action, we can spend 2 focus to go to any revealed map tile. So we're going to take a damage for going in there with a goblin. Goblin comes in. This one's a pokey goblin. And once again, we're going to poke him with our magic arrow. And we need a 7 on that one. So what we're going to do, we've got a 4 +1. We're going to spend 2 to take this down. So we're 4 +2 +1, so 7's going to deal the 1 damage. We get our focus, then we spend 2 focus to do the 2 damage to defeat. And we can get a loot and flip over an unrevealed location. So we found some study jerkin of the bear, and he already has a bear item. So we're going to discard this for him to pick up later. And we're going to reveal this spot. Good call. So that's a trap. If we would have walked into that, we would have needed to make a test with any attribute we wanted to. And this over here is for disarming the trap. Let's see. We can set it that way. And we're going to get a spot there. So his turn is done. We'll move that down. 1, 2, and 3. Ah, we found another trap. How exciting. We're going to turn it this way. So we're going to pick strength for our test, needing a 6 or better. We got a 5. And we can spend 2. We're going to take this 3 down to a +2. So our 7 beats it, so we don't take damage. That doesn't stop our movement. But we are going to stop there as an action to disarm this thing. So that's a strength test. We need a 5 or better. That's going to let us get our other item over there. So strength test. We needed a 5 or better. And we're going to refill our focus. And the bonus, basically we've got that picked. We're going to pick up some armor. And now with these, whenever we make a melee attack, we're going to be able to add +1 to that. So ending your turn, we get a friend at the entrance. Boomy Goblin. So we're going to magic arrow him. We don't need line of sight, just needs to be within 2. Using our magic arrow, we need 5. So 4 + 1. So we're going to gain 4 focus. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then spin 2 to take him out. And we're going to grab some loot. Longbow of the Panther. That's an item that's really not going to help us at all unless we start doing ranged attacks. I mean, our agility is a 2. We'll hold on to it. And for movement, we'll just go here and end our turn. Enemies are going to activate. We've got that under control, but we're not finding the enemies, so we need to start searching for big minions. So back over here, he's going to move into this room. And it's a, let's see, if we hold it this way, it can expand 1 more spot. We're really separating here. Goblin did pop out, so we're taking the damage. And it's a stabby goblin. We are attacking with a melee hammer, which is going to trigger us getting +1 defense in case we don't defeat him. And because we have the pair, we get +1 to whatever we roll. So we need a 5. So we can use a 3 + 2 to get the 5. We're also at a 6, so that's going to defeat. So goblins come in, goblins go out. But we are running out of time. With him, we will gain 3 health or get a loot. Elven Chain, that looks pretty nice. It's real nice. Gives us our plus to movement and defense, but we're going to keep our armor from the bear and just discard that. Pass the torch. And having the wizard go off searching for something terrible. And he found a trap. Needs a 7 on this test. And he's choosing his intellect not to fall off of the bridge. We've got a 6 + 1. So we're fine there, and we get to focus back. And we're going to keep on moving forward, finding another trap. That's probably where we needed to be. All right, so this trap, we need 7 or better again. And we've got a 6 + 1. And we go full of focus. And he'll keep on moving. So he's got a movement of 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Found yet another trap. So we will position like that. This trap, we need a 6 or better. We're +1, so we've got a 3, +2, plus the 1. So we're good with that trap, but we've expended all of our movement. Then for our action, we're going to try disarming this. So it does take intellect to do it. We need a 5 or better. We've got 4 + 1. So we can get a loot or a spell. We found a spiked buckler, which, I mean, gives us +1 defense if we're doing melee attacks. So not exactly something we'd really use. So we'll just discard it. Pass time. Bring out a goblin in the entrance. Oh, yes. And don't have to worry about that trap anymore. Next goblin is a boomy goblin. Then back to our paladin. He's going to move forward here. Movement of 1. There we go. Found one of our minions. Just walking in there, we're going to take 2 damage, though. On the sad side, this is not going to connect back around. So we're going to have to run all the way back out. That's not awesome. All right, 2 damage. Then our minion where we'll be battling is a troll. So 7 health, movement of 4, defense of 4. If we attack it with melee, it's going to come back at us with a +3. Ranged and spells is a +2. Ooh, and he brings out the little goblins when he activates, which will be coming up very shortly. Unless we can do 7 damage to him in 1 turn. So bring our troll in here, and then we're going to attack. All right, see how this goes. Some okay numbers, I guess. Let's see, right now we're looking at 7. We can spend 2 to make that a 3. Then another 2 to make that a +2. So we've got 8 and 9. So that's going to deal 5 damage to him. Then he's going to hit us back. So he's a 4 + 5. No, sorry, a 3 + 5. So he's hitting us for 8. We have a defense of 5 + 1. So we're going to take 2 damage. And that's going to end our turn, which is going to move that down into enemies attacking. So the boomy goblin, no one is within 2 of him, so he's going to go to the closest one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can choose which direction he heads. He just moves 1 spot, so he'll just go that direction. This guy's attacking. Let's see, it's going to hit us for 1 and bring out another goblin. And that guy is a boomy goblin. So basically when the enemies attack, they start with the goblins first, then minions. So the goblins have already missed his opportunity, so he just comes into the spot, which is still not good for us. So on to our wizard. He's definitely not going to be able to get over there to help, so he's just going to move down, see what he can find. He found a goblin. That's going to bring out a spot there. Comes in, takes a damage. He's going to have to heal next turn. So Goblin 3 is a stabby one. And he's going to magic arrow that guy. Needing a 6. So he's got the 3 + 2 plus the 1. So we'll get to magic, which we can't go up, spin 2 to defeat. And we're going to get to 3 health. That ends his turn. Then we're on to our paladin, who is going to attack the troll. So we've got a 6, a 1, and a 5. So the 6 + 1 + 1. So we're at 8. That's going to be enough to defeat. Actually, the 6 by itself is enough. Well, the 5 plus 1 is enough. That's the way we're going to do this. So we've got 5, 6 against his 4. It's going to do 2 damage. We're going to heal 1 because of that 6 and gain 2 focus from that. This will go on that track. And with that defeated, our torch goes up 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we can get 2 loot or 2 magic or 1 of each. We found a ruby figure. It gives us +1 red die, but we're still at a max of the number of dice we can roll. So discarding, and we got a sun hammer. That will definitely help us in a fight. So it's going to give us +1 to our roll, and whenever we do a melee attack, we're going to get a focus. Unfortunately, I think next turn we're going to go down because we're going to have 2 boomy goblins attacking us. Unless I just stay in this spot, then it's just going to be the 1. Yep, we got to stay there. All right. In turn, another goblin comes in. He's a shooty goblin. For wizard's turn, he's going to move forward, finding a lunchroom. So as a free action, we can search there. If we pass, we use 3 focus to go to our max health. If we fail, I guess we got some poison food and we take 2 damage. I think what we're going to do is cut that spot off. We need to start heading back around the other way. So we're at our max 3 this direction. We could have set it up this way so it keeps going further. But we're not going to. So that was 1. Then 2. Then we're going to do a search action. Using our intelligence. After we do this, we spend 4 focus to move that up 2 spaces. So we need a 6 for that to happen. We got it. So we'll spend 2. No, it's 4. And this goes up 2 spaces. And we'll end his turn, which moves us down a spot, which helps him live a little bit longer. So he's going to attack this goblin. So we've got a, let's see, this one is goblin number 2. He's got 4 health. We're +1 from this and +1 from that for the fight. So the 3 plus 2 is going to be the 5, which is enough to defeat. We're going to gain a health and 3 focus. And we're going to grab a loot. The Great Staff of the Phoenix, which is not something we need. Wouldn't be bad for our wizard. So we're going to start making our way back. 1, 2, 3. Ending our turn, which is going to spawn another goblin in the entrance, which is a stabby goblin. And then on to our magic user, who's going to be running through traps. At least he fixed that one. So 1, 2, and 3. But first we have to do a 7 with our intelligence. So we've got a 6 plus our 1, so we're fine there. We're going to grab 2 focus. Then jump in this room and find our other minion. So immediately take 2 damage. And let's see. We'll move this stuff over. As we're adding all of that. And the minion coming out is a skeleton with 8 health. which somehow he's going to have to defeat on his own. All he's got going for him is his magic arrow. So with 8 health and only doing 2 damage every round, he's in trouble. Movement to 3, definitely can't outrun him. And we're stuck in the room with him. All right, attacking with the only thing we've got. Let's see, health would be nice. Getting focus is also nice. All right, 6, we auto succeeded. We're going to get 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, then spin 2 to deal 2 damage to him. And that was a magic attack. He doesn't like that, so he's a 3 plus 3, 6 on our defense of 4, 5. So we're going to take a damage and then lose 3 focus. So that's showing with that type of attack against him, it was plus 3 plus his enemy die, and I was just doing the difference. We don't lose a 3 focus till he actually attacks us. So we are done. Now he's going to attack us in just a second. So first, our first Boomy Goblin. He's within range 2, so 2 damage to him. Then Stabby Goblin is our blue one. He's got no one in his spot, so he's moving 4 spaces. Shooty Goblin moves 2 and shoots for 1, down to 1 health. Then this guy attacks for -2. Nothing we can do about that, so we are down. 1, 2, 3. So we go over to his turn, and he is going to, let's see, attack Stabby. Let's see, Stabby, that's going to be enough to take him out. Yep, just taking out Stabby. And with that, we're going to go for 3 health. So we're up to 4 health. And then we've got a movement of 3. So we're going to run through this trap. 1, 2, and 3. So the trap we need a 7 on. So we've got a 6 plus 2, so we're good, and we're going to gain a health. And we can actually take a free action there to lower that by 1 to go to our max health. Probably not a great thing, but we need to get over here in a hurry. So end of our turn now, we're spawning a goblin at the entrance. Pokey Goblin. Then for his turn, his action has to be to heal. So 3 and 5. And he's going to start running. 1, doing a test with intelligence, needing a 7. So we're 5 plus 1. We're going to spend 2 to make this a 6. So we're 6 plus 1. We succeeded. So we're going to gain a focus and a health. Then we're going to move on to another trap. See if we can heal ourselves again. Needing a 7. All right. We've got a 6 plus 1. So we got the 7. We're going to heal and gain another focus. That's going to end the turn. So now all the enemies are going to activate. Boomy Goblin Green. He's got someone within 2, so 2 damage. Pokey Goblin Blue is within a spot of someone, so he's going to deal 3 damage over here. Ouch, we've been poked. Then Shooty Goblin. Movement of 2, and then shoots us for 1. We're down to 2 health. Then he's got a movement of 3, so 1, 2. Then he's attacking for 2 damage. And 1, 2, 3, focus taken down. And now we have our Paladin going. Free action. We're going to move this down so we can go to max health. Then we're going to move onto a trap. We need a 7 or 6 plus 2. So we succeeded there. Now we're going to attack. He's down to 6 health. So with a melee attack, let's see, we're going to get +1 defense. We get +1 to the attack with another +1 for the attack. We'd gain a focus, but we're already maxed out. 5 +1 +2. Our hope, we need to do 6 damage, which means we need 10. So we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, we're +1 +1. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we already have the +10. So that's going to be enough to defeat the skeleton, which is going to make our track go up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We get 2 loot, Longsword of the Lion, which we're going to discard, and a crossbow, which we don't need. All right, done with his turn. This goes down. We bring out our 4th goblin. So that's a problem now. Because if the 5th wants to come out, that's an auto loss. Oops, that's the troll we beat up earlier. So we got another stabby goblin coming in. So exploring rooms now is dangerous with that many goblins on the map. So what we're going to do with him, 1, 2, 3. Magic arrow. We're going to go after Pokey Goblin, which is number 2. Needing a 6. Now we got a 2 + 2 + 2. Which gets us there just a long way. So we're going to spend 2 focus to do 2 damage to Pokey. We're going to get a loot and flip a card. Great Axe of the Bear. That's pretty sweet for him, but it is lower movement. So we're just going to discard that, and we're going to flip this one. We found the lair. All right. That's what we needed to find. And then so he doesn't die, he's going to spend 2 focus to teleport. We'll just go there. Ending his turn. Now the enemies attack. Boomy Goblin. No one is within 2, so he's going to move 1 spot. That one, he's going to move 1, 2. Then he can attack anything within 2 for 1. And Stabby Goblin can't attack, so he's going to move for 4. 1, 2, 3. So into our Paladin, he's going to attack the Goblin in his spot. And that guy We need a 5 to take him out. So the 4 plus our 1 is enough to do it. We're going to gain a focus, which we don't have room for. We'll gain a health. And we can grab... How big does this help us? Makes her attacks. That's a pretty big attack. But it's -1 to her movement. We're going to take it. I feel like we're going to need it. And with her poor movement, we're going to move 1, 2. Of course, that's going through a trap. So we're going to need a 7 on that one. And we rolled too good. We don't have any just inherit 1s. In order to get that down, we need to take that from a 5 to a 2. So we just flat out failed that, so we're going to take the 2 damage from that thing. And since we didn't succeed, we can't get any bonuses. So his turn's done. Torch comes down. Then for his turn, he's going to heal. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the turn, which spawns another goblin, so we still got some major issues keeping those guys in check. Stabby is out. Enemies are getting ready to attack. Don't want him jumping in there, so we're going to jump back in this trap. So we've got 3 plus 1. We'll spin 2 to make this a +2. That still only gets us to 6. We'll spend another 2 to bump that up. So we get to the 7. Then we're going to throw our axe up at that guy. So it's range. We're using our strength +2. That's all we've got. And that is number 3. So we need a 6 to take him down. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's going to get us 3 focus back. Defeat him. We're going to use that. Let's see. We'll grab another loot. Warhorn of the Bear. That's going to be our 4th item for that. So as a free action, we can spend 2 to all enemies within 4. We can move them 2 spaces. So that's going to work for him. And in his turn, so that moves down. Enemies activate. Boomy Goblin moves a space. Stabby Goblin, 1, 2, 3, 4. Does not attack. On to his turn. He is going to magic arrow that guy. So needing a 6. So he's got the 6. Can also gain 3 focus, and then spend 2 to take him out. He'll grab some loot. Greaves of the Lion gives him +1 speed, which we're going to discard to give to him. We'll discard so he can pick it up. Well, yeah, he can still carry it. To negate that -1 movement. Move here. Then we're going to move in and see what our enemy is. So we are fighting the Pharaoh. So he's going to have 8 health times 2. For each one of these areas, he can't take damage past that until we get him to an altar. So we're going to have to lure him out to this altar and then all the way up to that one, which is going to be a problem. We enter at this spot, so if we start our turn there, we're going to lose 2 focus. He's got a movement of 2, so it's going to take him forever to get up there. 7 defense, and of course he hits pretty hard. All right, so we moved 1, we moved 2 to here, we've got 3. We're going to lose a focus just for being there. We've already made our main action, so we are done. But we flip this over. So when you flip that over, we go back to the top. We now have a new free action. As a free action, we can spend 2 focus to lure the enemy out towards us. And that starts up in that spot. So right now, the monster is in his lair. Should have an altar token there and there. So with our 2 movements, we can only get to the door. So what we're going to do is retreat. Keep goblins in check. We're going to try running across a trap, which hasn't been going well for us. So we got a 5 plus 2. We made the 7. We're going to get a focus back. Then we're going to move to that spot and take our action, throwing our axes at it. And let's see. So it's just going to be plus 2. We definitely have more than enough to take it out. And with him gone, we're going to see if there's any better loot for us to get. Yes, we wanted that. So that's an item we can have. So now our movement's going to be up to 3 at least. Ending our turn, that moves down. Then it's going to be our wizard's turn. He's going to move 1 spot over. Basically, in that spot, we get plus 2 to our intellect. Or do we want to go over further? I mean, we can move over and shoot with the panther. So with the big monsters, you can do ranged in the same area as them. It's just, do I want to do 2 damage to him or try to get that going on? Yeah, we'll try that. We'll move to that spot. We're going to make a ranged attack with our agility, which is just 2 dice, but we're going to be at plus 2 on 1 of them. It's risky, but we're trying it. Oh, a 2 and a plus 1. I think we just missed. So 1, go. We can take the 3 up to a 4. Then with our plus 2, we're a 6, and then plus 1 is a 7. So we're not even going to damage. There we go for trying something new. All right, so our attack was not successful. He's going to attack back. So whatever our shield value is, that's meeting it. And it's plus 2 on our defense. So, you know, we got to be a plus 1. It's just doing 2 damage to us. All right, so he's not set up to do a lot of damage. Or just 2 at a time. You know what? We're going to do a free action and research. We're going to spend 4 to see what we can find here. Dungeon Scry. So 5 or less, spend 2 to reveal a door. Then we can do another action or move. Oh well. Then this moves down. All enemies activate. This is the only one. And basically he's... It's a move to get with a hero. He's already there, so all heroes within 2 are going to take 2 damage. So we've got the plague going on us. So we're down to 1 health. All right, so then on to him. We are going to use a free action, spending 2 to have this guy move out. So 1, 2. And he's going to pick up this token, so now we can at least put the damage down that far if needed. Then we're going to spend 2 more. Make sure I'm reading that right. It's move a target away. So we'll spend 2 to have him come 2 more closer to us. Then we're going to throw our axe in there at him. Strength plus 2. So we've got 6, 7, 8. Any other range things going on? Nope. Yeah, we're going to do... So we've got 8 damage going on him. Minus his defense of 7. So we do 1 actual damage to him. He's going to retaliate with 2 plus 2, which is 4, so we don't take any damage. We're keeping those as unused so we can get 4 focus back. And then we're going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So equidistance, we can have him go after him. So in the turn, we get a goblin, a boomy goblin. We don't like that guy throwing bombs for 2 damage. But I think we're just going to have to take it here in a bit. All he can do, that's going to be fun for anybody, is heal. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Movement 1, 2, 3. We're going to do a free action 1, 2, 3, 4. See if we can find a better spell. Invisibility. Maybe. And end your turn. Enemies are going to activate. Boomy Goblin's happy where he's at. Throws in a bomb there. He moves 2, 1, 2. And is doing damage, 2 damage to all enemies within 2 spaces, down to 2 health. That's a problem. Well, Boomy needs to go. So we're going to throw our axe in there at him. We've got 4 plus 2, so that's enough to take him down. So with him down, too bad he's not a healing one. Not sure what else we have up here. Cloak of the Panther. Discard it. Then we're going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. End her turn. And then for his turn, we can move out for 1 and not be closer, still forcing that guy to go this way and get that second token. And main action, we're going to heal. So it goes up to 7. Then we're going to spend 4 down to 3. Find some chain lightning. We can get 2 targets to take a damage. That might be helpful if we get more goblins out. And in turn, so enemies are going to activate. It's moving 2 spaces, 1, 2. So now we can go all out damage on him. If I can start hitting him and getting brave enough with my 2 health. So we're going to blow our horn to move him back 2 spaces. Then we're going to heal 1, 2, 3, and 5. And ender turn. This is not going well. I've got to go crazy here in a second and just go after him. All right, Goblin, Boomy. That's not good. His turn. Let's see, movement 1, 2, 3, running through 2 traps. First trap needing a 7. We are +1 still. So I've got a 6 +1, and we get 3 focus back. 1, 2, 3. The second trap we run through, needing a 7. 5 +1 +2, we're good. Gain a focus, we're fine. Then we're going to do our magic arrow around the corner. We need a 6, we're +1, so we're good there. We gain 3 focus or 1, then we spin 2 to do 2 damage to him. 1, 2. And he doesn't have line of sight back, so not coming after us. All right, enemies attack. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's going to move 1 space. He's moving 2. Just does an auto 2 damage. Over here, 1, 2, 3 is our movement. 1, 2, 3. Throwing an axe. We are 4 plus our 2. We've got 2 healings. This guy's gone. We're going to go see what else we have in this pile. Plate mail of the lion. Ooh, that's a lot of healing. So every time we do melee attack, we'll heal 1. We're losing some damage there. Do we have any more lions in here? Yeah, we got the sword of the lion in there also. Yeah, we're going to keep our damage dealing. All right. Looking dire. Coming down to the wire. So our magic user gets to go. He's going to do what most magic users should do. Run away. 1, 2. So there's no line of sight. Use his magical ability. See, we're +1. So we're good with that. We're going to gain max out at 8 and then spin 2 to deal 2 damage. End our turn. Enemies activate. 1, 2, dealing 2 damage to him, down to 1 health. 2 damage to us. Back to his turn. Running in. We need this to be a huge attack here. All right, so for our fight, let's see. Got a 6 +2. We've got all 4 of the bear things, so we're also +3. Make sure I'm right here. So 1, 2, and then because of this, so we're base +5 on this attack. And we're going to spend 2 to take that down to a 3. And 2 more to take it down to a +2. So we're 10, 15 on 7, so 8 damage. So we'll just bring this all the way down to 0. But then he's going to retaliate on us with a base 3, so 7. We are 5 plus 1. So we're going to take 1 damage. And then move this down. So he's going to activate, doing 2 damage to both of us. So down to 2 and down. Oh, wrong one down. So with him down, all he can do on his turn is rest. Really need him to be able to heal, because our paladin's going to go down next. Oh, I am going to... There's a way out of that. I had a free action I could have done in there. And... No, well, I would have lost anyway. Doesn't matter. All right. So he's done. Enemies activate. We both take 2 damage. Then he goes down, so all he can do on his turn is rest and stand up. And that's going to be the end of the game. So came down to the wire, just couldn't get it to happen. We've got 3 damage left to deal on the big beastie. But that's the basics of how to play Tiny Epic Dungeons. As always, I hope you enjoyed this playthrough, so please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.